And we did our project this semester on Shopify. Our group members include myself, Brandon, Jack, Josh, Maya, and Nathan. So, a brief overview on Shopify is that in 2004, it was started by friends Tobias, Scott, and Daniel. And they came up with this business idea to start selling snowboards and snowboarding equipment online through a store called Snow Devil. However, the e-commerce platforms that existed at the time didn't cut it for them, so they created their own. And that's when Shopify was made. It was born in 2006 and now supports millions of merchants in 175 over 175 countries, and it includes names, well-known names such as Allbirds, Gymshark, and Heinz now.
All right, so to give kind of an executive summary here of what we've put together, we'll talk about Shopify's mission to make commerce better for everyone. Like we just mentioned, it began as a tool to sell snowboards, but has grown to include businesses of all size, from entrepreneurs to global brands, in order to launch and scale online. And at the heart of their mission is their belief that merchants should control their brand and their customer relationships. Shopify currently supports millions of merchants in more than 175 countries, playing a huge role in that e-commerce tech. Shopify doesn't just build the websites, it actually produces vertically integrated commerce solutions, including storefronts, payments, logistics, analytics, AI now, and more, all under just one roof. This removes the complexity for merchants and lets them focus on their growing businesses. In this report, we use tools like the SWOT analysis, VRIO, Porter's Five Forces, value chain analysis to break down some of their current strategy and identify its strengths, as well as how well its internal capabilities align with the external opportunities. Shopify's ability to simplify that e-commerce while empowering those brands is really, really big. So to talk a little bit into the pattern of actions, um, their success isn't driven by a single breakthrough product or service. It's driven by this pattern of consistent, well-aligned actions that are all reinforcing one another. They all kind of play symbiotically. So Shopify's platform lowers the barrier to entry for a lot of businesses and can set up a very professional online storefront, manage their operations, and scale that business all without the business owner needing a deep technical knowledge. This accessibility drives the platform adoption across the globe that we've mentioned. Um, by fostering a robust app and themes, Shopify lets third-party developers expand their platform's functionality while allowing the core platform to stay lean. Users enjoy thousands of different customization options, and it's win-win that also strengthens that merchant retention. When it comes to those omni-channel sells, Shopify helps merchants reach customers anywhere through their website. They also have in-person POS systems, some marketplaces with Amazon, and even some of their social channels like TikTok. This seamless omni-channel experience enhances both convenience and conversion. Um, also helps to drive innovation, strengthen brand control, focus that core strategy, and together all these actions create this flywheel. The more merchants that join, the better the ecosystem becomes and the better it gets. All right, so to talk on a couple of the competitive advantages that Shopify holds, their competitive advantage comes from the ability to offer that full stack commerce solution that can scale with customers. It has all the tools that merchants might need, from web design to payments, and it makes it easier to not have to juggle so many tech tools. It helps keep that whole process pretty friction free. The developer ecosystem and the network effects, kind of like I already had mentioned, the more that merchants use Shopify, the better the business gets for everyone using it. It also helps to build that brand trust and that merchant loyalty. And it's not about chasing trends, it's about anticipating them when it comes to Shopify. They've consistently grown in revenue, customer adoption, even amidst some of the macroeconomic issues that we've seen. Ultimately, Shopify's advantage isn't just about what it offers, it's about how all of its pieces fit together. Its ecosystem, tools, brands, and the strategy all reinforce one another to build that durable, hard to replicate leadership in global commerce?
As part of our analysis of Shopify, we also put it through the 3 tests of a winning strategy. Those 3 tests include the fit test, the competitive advantage test, and the performance test. And so when we looked at, a Shopify's fit within the marketplace, we saw that it was pretty compelling. There's a growing interest in e-commerce, and so Shopify kind of rides those tailwinds, and then it also fits with the needs of merchants with their product suite that they offer. When looking at the competitive advantage test, we saw that Shopify is customizable, it's user-friendly, and has a strong partner network. And so it's pretty well positioned there. And then finally, with the performance test, we like that Shopify has strong recurring revenue and that it's resistant to macroeconomic headwinds and has continued to increase the value of their product over time.
So to begin with the external environment, let's look at Shopify through the Porter's 5 Forces framework. First, competitive rivalry. The e-commerce platform space is extremely competitive. Shopify maintains its edge through innovation, a strong app ecosystem, and a laser focus on user experience. Next, the threat of substitutes. Alternatives like custom-built platforms exist, but they require more investment and technical knowledge, making them less practical for most businesses. The bargaining power of suppliers is low. Shopify works with a wide range of tech providers and app developers, so it isn't reliant on any single supplier. But on the other hand, bargaining power of buyers is higher due to many alternatives, but Shopify's ease of use to and customer loyalty helps to mitigate that. And finally, our threat of new entrance is moderate. While anyone can launch a platform, replicating Shopify's scale and trust is a serious challenge. Go to the next one. Next, we performed a competitive and environmental scan. In the competitive landscape, Shopify's key rivals include WooCommerce, Magneto, and BigCommerce. WooCommerce is flexible but requires technical skills, and Magneto is powerful but complex, and BigCommerce is scalable with strong built-in tools. Shopify stands out because of its advantages: a user-friendly interface, extensive app marketplace, strong support, and the flexibility that appeals to businesses of all sizes. From an environmental perspective, Shopify must stay ahead of tech trends like AI and mobile commerce. Economically, it remains tied to consumer spending. So socially, it benefits from the growth of online and social commerce, but legally, it must stay compliant with the global data and trade laws. We'll go to the next. To quantify Shopify's competitive position, we used a weighted competitive strength assessment. We evaluated 6 critical success factors: user friendliness, customization, scalability, app ecosystem, cost effectiveness, and support, and assigned weights based on the importance. As you can see, Shopify scores the highest overall with a weighted score of 8.65, outperforming competitors across multiple categories, especially in user friendliness and app integration and customer support. This confirms Shopify's strong market position, driven by its ease of use, flexible features, and the support infrastructure.
All right, now taking a look at Shopify's current strategy. In the past few years, Shopify has made some bold moves. After trying to manage shipping and logistics on its own, the company realized that wasn't its strength, so in 2023 they sold off that part of the business. Since then, Shopify has doubled down on what it is good at: software tools that help businesses grow online. They have been focusing on creating a stronger platform by improving the technology and integrating more features that help with payments and business financing. They're also investing in AI tools and creating better analytics features. Also, they aren't just targeting small businesses anymore. While those customers are still important to them, Shopify is investing heavily into Shopify Plus, which is designed for larger enterprises. This is important because those larger companies tend to stick around longer and bring in more revenue, which helps Shopify grow and stay stable. Now, financially, this strategy is working pretty well for them. Gross margins are strong and revenues are growing steadily. They've reduced R&D spending as a percentage of revenue, which shows improved efficiency, but also raises some questions about future innovation. That said, they have a healthy balance sheet, and this provides the flexibility to increase spending in R&D.
So kind of synthesizing a lot of the information that's been shared thus far, we did a SWOT analysis. And so some of the strengths that Shopify has is that they have strong brand recognition, they have a recurring revenue model, and they're very scalable. Some of the weaknesses include that they depend on small businesses and its platform complexity can be hard for these businesses as well. And if there is ever a very large economic downturn, these small businesses may be the first ones to really feel the weight of that, and so they may go down. Some of the opportunities include the growth in e-commerce, the growth in AI and AI solutions, as well as B2B expansion. And then finally, some of the threats, like what was said earlier with the small businesses, if there are any drastic economic downturns, they could hurt those businesses, and that is their primary market. Another threat is cybersecurity and strong competition from competitors such as BigCommerce, WooCommerce, and Magento that may, with the help of AI, they could potentially take some of Shopify's market share.
Great. So I'll talk about the resources and capabilities of the firm and also go through the VRIO framework that we did. So their resources and capabilities are the backbone of its total strength. The company has evolved from a bootstrap phase with open source tools such as MySQL and leveraging abundant financial capital and proprietary tech. This evolved into tools like Shopify Payments and AI-driven tools and APIs for other tools such as Sidekick. Its intangibles, such as their strong brand and merchant data, also fuel innovations in predictive analytics and personalization for the merchant. And now using the VRIO framework, we see that Shopify's developer ecosystem and its scalabilities offer sustained competitive advantages as they're valuable and rare and hard to imitate, but its AI utilization only has a small advantage or a temporary advantage. Meanwhile, this does keep Shopify ahead in serving merchants from solo entrepreneurs and all the way up to small and mid-market companies.
So taking a look at their value chain activities, we're going to go through three of them. The first being platform infrastructure. So one of Shopify's biggest strengths is that it is incredibly easy to use if you're looking to build an online store. So that enables these small to medium-sized businesses to set up a shop online and have it not cost an arm and a leg at the beginning. And it's very customizable. Moving on to merchant enablement. So you can look at all the marketing analytics, fulfillment, and whatever other services you need to really create that value as you grow as a merchant. And so because they offer that, it gives these merchants tools to really create more success. And as they do so, it does build that platform loyalty. As far as the app ecosystem, it goes, it's incredibly flexible. So there's so many apps that work within the Shopify space that really create this web that, as they work together, it can lead to higher functionality and more success. So overall, their value chain enhances the value proposition to merchants and gives them all those customizable tools that you'd need. And really, as the customer grows, so does the platform. As far as what moves they should make, we do believe that Shopify should stay on the offensive. Looking forward, we believe that they should go into and focus on the emerging markets listed here: Southeast Asia, Latin America, Africa. These are areas where, as they become more and more urbanized and industrialized, the entrepreneurs are going to be looking for tools, and Shopify has positioned itself to be one of the best tools for these mobile first entrepreneurs. And that's just going to bring a whole new wing of profitability into the business through these new entrepreneurs, as they enable them to grow. As well, we wanted to look into bundled pricing. So bundling Shopify's platform with other platforms with such that might include email marketing, any sort of shipping discounts or shipping services, having, as listed here, prepackaged starter kits for new merchants to help them with decision fatigue, and also to encourage these bundled pricing will encourage them to use Shopify's in-house programs. And as far as execution and a cost-benefit analysis, starting with the execution, in the emerging markets, we think that the mobile-first side will be the best sellers, the best-selling templates, and the highest converting features in these emerging markets that we mentioned: Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa. We also believe that as Shopify moves into new markets, it's going to be really important that they have regional language support and training content. So that way, these new entrepreneurs don't have to make a huge jump to get to where Shopify needs them to be. Rather, Shopify can come down to their level and help bring them back up. And then with the bundles, it's pretty straightforward. Just looking at all-in-one starter kits, showing these new entrepreneurs how to operate inside of Shopify and become successful. And then on the right, we have the cost-benefit analysis that just goes over the cost, the expected benefits, and then maybe the most important part, the projected annual revenue increase. And so when we go down to the bottom, the estimated annual cost or startup cost for these new ideas could be between 45 to 60 million, but we're projecting it to provide 130 to 200 million dollars of annual uplift.
Great. So now looking at if Shopify has the right capabilities for good strategy execution, we would say yes. They have a lot of strengths when it comes to things like their tech infrastructure, high margin software tools, solutions for enterprises, and the potential for scalability. On the organizational culture side, Shopify has done a great job of fostering an innovative and collaborative workplace. They have a customer-focused approach, and that has helped them stay ahead in the competitive e-commerce space. They've also taken actions to diversify and be inclusive of all types of businesses and customers, allowing them to serve more clients and develop a global customer base. That said, there are some areas that need attention. As they continue to grow and take on larger clients, they will need to offer more specialized support, like more hands-on onboarding or custom services, and they'll need to stay operationally efficient to handle this increased demand without affecting the customer experience.
So I'll be covering the strategic issues and problems. Shopify is a great platform if you're a solo entrepreneur or small and mid-market company, but it's facing some tough hurdles that could slow the company down. And one of the first that comes to mind is scalability. With that being a big concern, there's more and more merchants joining every day on the platform, and its infrastructure is under some pressure, which can be addressed through capital expenditures such as building more data centers and better equip the data processing. So this means Shopify just needs to pour more resources into upgrading its tech to prevent slowdowns or crashes. That's just going to drive merchants away and to the other competitors. Second is the e-commerce space is super competitive and constantly changing, and big giants such as Amazon or eBay have really deep pockets that could outpace their Shopify innovations if it doesn't keep pushing the envelope with new tools and features. They're doing pretty good at that already, but they just need to keep that edge. And then finally, the merchant trust is critical, and things like system outages or cybersecurity attacks and risks especially with third-party services such as the payments platform, Shopify Payments, could make merchants nervous, and understandably so. And it might tempt them to switch to other competitors. And so we believe these are the key problems that Shopify just needs to take on in order to stay an industry leader in e-commerce. And to finish with the key recommendations to stay ahead in the game, there's 3 recommendations we came up with. First, strengthen enterprise market. And essentially what this means is, and they also need to market it better. So they just got a new chief marketing officer, Adriana Burros, and we believe that she should launch a campaign showcasing success stories from bigger brands using Shopify Plus. These are bigger firms, not like marketing to bigger firms, not necessarily like solo entrepreneurs or small and mid-market companies, but enterprise businesses. We believe this will attract more enterprise clients and position Spotify as a serious player for high growth companies and really big companies. And then our second recommendation is to continue to expand and supercharge its AI capabilities. Like we said, they're doing great. We would recommend they keep doing great in that. And so beyond tools like Sidekick, it can use AI for internal operations also, such as catching fraud and streamlining tech support, which is extremely beneficial and helpful to the merchants, and also develop new AI products to cut costs and create fresh revenue streams. With all that merchant data, or let's see, third, social commerce is booming. So purchasing items and services through social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, and other meta platforms is big, and it's growing, and it has been for a while. And so we believe that a recommendation will be improving Shop Pay for seamless checkouts on platforms such as the meta platforms and TikTok and X, adding analytics tailored for social selling and building partnerships with established and up-and-coming social media networks. We believe that this will increase the amount of merchants willing to use Shopify for their e-commerce platform. We believe these strategies align where the market's going and set up Shopify for great long-term growth and innovation in the future.
Great. Thank you for watching this presentation.
Okay. How do we feel?
I feel like you almost said Spotify there at the end.
I think I said Spotify once, and then maybe I went back and said Shopify after. I don't know.
Yeah, you did, and I kind of
I
laughed.
didn't
I
catch it.
kind of smiled when
Oh,
you
I
did
didn't
it.
even notice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll pause it.
Well, timing wise, we should be good if we started at